Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Struggling Hunters. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for tuning in for last week. Hopefully, our last week's episode, um, you thought it was okay with the little hiccups that we had trying to get through it. Me and Eric, if you haven't watched last week's episode, that would be 96. Go back and watch it. Me and Eric tried to do an in the field podcast together, and we ran into some recording issues, and we tried to persevere anyways, and we did. It was successful in the way of recording, but I don't know how successful it fully was as a podcast, but it's still worth a listen. So go back and have a listen. And we thank you guys for tuning in with us again. And with that, we'll kind of go ahead and get started with this week's little podcast conversation. This is probably go with the feel of just sitting around camp, trying to learn something new. But I guess this week's episode is not really about learning something new. It's a article we pulled off the old interweb, and it comes from, I guess, a magazine called Man Tripping, but it's how to get started hunting as an adult who never learned as a kid. And I did it again, taking over the show. I just let Eric sit over there and smile and nod, and not really interact with him too good. So I should probably just steal the show and just let Eric sit there and not say anything. But
take over.
This article, there's a handful of topics through it, so we're probably going to hit the first couple or maybe bounce through a couple other ones just to kind of get through it in a way. But it had some little talking points that we thought were kind of good. So again, this article is about learning to hunt when you haven't grown up hunting. So in other words, you're old enough to hunt by yourself, and you want to go and you have no clue where to start, what to do, or maybe what hunting even is. So I think with that, the first topic kind of goes hand in hand with that. So I think we can start with that one and get some other ones. So
the figure out what you'd like to do.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I would say on that one, like for a new hunter coming out, I mean, I was just kind of thinking of this on the top of my head as an example. And, you might look a little silly if you walk out there and you just want to hunt, and elk season opens up and you walk out there with a duck call.
Right.
Might not work out for you too well. So figuring out what you want to do and structuring yourself to hunt for the animal in a way that will help you pursue that animal, and you're not confused. So I mean, that was kind of one of my examples.
Well, I was kind of thinking on that too.
You know what? I guess the article kind of said something along those lines with turkey and elk wrap. But anyway, go ahead, Joe.
But along those lines of maybe, I kind of go back to, well, I guess I'll get this first part of my thought out first, is kind of understanding what it is you want to hunt, to bite off something you want to hunt first and then go from there. Meaning like start little, maybe a squirrel hunt, or just pick one thing and focus on that one thing till you understand it. And it's not, we make it sound like there's a lot to understand, but there's really not. But when one of my first, it's kind of funny. So me and Eric talked about growing up in Idaho and hunting Idaho and stuff. And I've done a little bit of elk hunting in Idaho, but like my first actual like camp out elk hunting
was
with a college roommate. and his dad, and they were nice enough to allow me to go hunt where they hunted. We didn't get anything, but it was one of those. I felt like a newbie. Like, so I guess I should take it back to, so like I said, it was my college roommate. And so I hadn't been hunting in 3 or 4 years. And I think, oh, was it the first year we were married? Me and Jen were married. I believe it was the first year. And so, kind of a newlywed. And on top of that was the first year that yeah, it was the first year I started to wear glasses that I
Mm.
got. and and so I felt like, let's see if I can set the scene. So we get up in the morning and we take off hunting or hiking to go to our spots. And I just felt kind of off for the day. So I've never experienced glasses in the wintertime. And so
Mm.
I take off hiking up the hill. My glasses are just like fogging up. And, I'm getting frustrated with that. And then on top of that, like my safety gets bumped off my gun. So then my bolt on my rifle, like it cracks open and slides down. And so I don't know how long I was hiking with like my bolt open, jacked open, and, I'm just hanging there. And I just, and seemed like there's a couple other little things, but I just felt so much like a newbie. Like, it's like, man, I feel so out of my realm. And like I said, this is probably the first time I've been hunting, and at least elk. It was probably my first time hunting elk in like 3 or 4 years.
Hmm.
And in that situation, um, but anyways, like, I just, not that it had anything to do with our first little thing here, but it was just my only time I remember hunting something and feeling like a newbie.
Kind of feeling like you're out of place.
Yeah, I totally felt out of place. Like,
Yeah. But there's a couple things with that. And I think that's why like me and you, we're real comfortable hunting with each other. And, I mean, in the future, I want to hunt with other people, or more people, and have more people, have a group or whatever. But I know me and you, like, we're real comfortable hunting with each other at this point. And it's hard to hunt with somebody else because they have their little ways of doing it, and you jumping on with your buddy and his dad. They
yeah,
they have a system, they have a setup, and they have a little more experience at hunting elk, and it was in Utah, new territory, so everything was just off for you. I know because the same thing happened to me, different circumstance. I went out with a buddy, well, a couple buddies, but whenever I started elk hunting in Colorado, it was the same thing. Go out with a buddy and trying to follow along with the way they do it. And I'm like, oh, that's a little different than I do it, whatever those were. But I remember doing the same thing. I also remember my bolt on my gun going open a few times. And I'm like, why is this still happening? Going through scrub oak or whatever, and it just catches your bolt just right and opens up.
yeah,
It's so annoying whenever that happens. But I think that could happen even if you're a seasoned hunter. I mean, this is kind of veering off of this article a little bit, but even if you're a seasoned hunter, you go hunting with somebody brand new that you never hunted with, and they have their traditions and the way they do things, and then there's the way you do things. It's just it's hard to hunt, like in those cases, like with you, me and you, I feel like we're close enough where we can almost read each other's mind, or if we bounce ideas off of each other, we just know how each other operate. And so we could, work with, but somebody new, um, it's almost easier because you don't really understand how they operate. So it's almost easier to be like, you go to that ridge, I'm going to go to this ridge, and we'll meet over there. Tell me what you see. I'll tell you what I see, and we'll figure it out.
right.
So,
Well, kind of moving along through the article and kind of going on the lines of hunting with other people. Like the next thing it says is, which is important if you're new, is get your hunter safety card, and then on and make some friends. And I just kind of thought that's kind of cool. Like you're going to a place. I don't think it's when we took it, we actually went to a classroom. I think nowadays it's all online and you have to go to an actual shooting range um to qualify, to shoot a little caliber rifle to qualify shooting. But anyways, I'm sure, like I'd say it's a good idea, but then I just shot myself down all in the same sentence there. Because I said today's day and age, they don't have a class. I mean, I'm sure there's a physical class you can do, and it'd probably be awesome to get into that because you can probably, great place to meet people that are getting started too
Yeah.
in a hunter's ed class.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. We should look into that. My boy's going to be doing it here soon. But I want to get my wife doesn't have her hunter's safety, and I kind of want her to do it at the same time. She'd probably feel more comfortable doing it
With Carter.
online. Yeah, with Carter, but probably online.
True. Well, that's what I've talked to. I had a couple guys at work a while back, or not a couple, but one guy. He was kind of, in a way, excited to do it online because that way he didn't have to feel like some old guy sitting in with the classroom of kids.
Yeah.
Taking hunter safety.
Yeah, I would feel that way. I mean, if I was trying to get my hunter safety today, you remember? So I wonder, where did you do your hunter safety at? Did you do it in?
I did in Utah, or sorry, in Idaho.
You did do it. Did we do it in the same year? We had.
I don't remember.
Well, you're a smidge older than me, so you might have taken it before me. But anyway, so the shooting day, I was thinking of this the other day actually, and so crazy that we just did it in the gym.
Yeah, we did.
Shot 20, and I think they were all 22s, but
yeah, that
we
little
shot
single action
22s in the gym of all things. I was thinking, I'm like, you trusted a bunch of 12-year-olds to shoot 22s in a gym.
Yeah. So when you took it, did the instructor guy say whoever shot the best, he'll buy him a pop?
I do.
You remember?
I feel like I did hear that. Did you get the pop?
Well, yeah, but I think I forced it.
Oh, really?
So, so yeah, so he's like, oh yeah, whoever gets the best targets, I'll buy him a pop. And so I shot, and and I was sitting there waiting, and he looks at it and he's like, oh, this is pretty good. It might be the best one. So I'm like all excited, And then my dad took me, and we're sitting there waiting, and my dad's like, all right, well, it's time to go. You're done shooting. I'm like, I can't go. I gotta wait till we're done because he said that I'm shooting pretty good and I think I won. And my dad's like, well, go talk to him. So I was like, walked up to the guy and I was like, did I win? He's like instructing someone like shooting on the range. And I was like, I gotta go. My dad said it's time to go, and I need my pop money.
That's good. That's good.
So he gave me $1 or something, I think, just to get me off the range while he was instructing the kid.
Oh, really? That's funny. That's funny. I can't even remember. I can't remember. I feel I can't remember what happened, or I don't know. It's all vague. I don't think I won a pop money though. But now, like, a part of me, like, I'm like, I wanna have a shooting contest because, like, my competitive edge kind of kicks in,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, man, I wonder if I shot good that day because I can't remember. But so now I want to like reel it all the way back. What, almost, well, not quite 20 something years later, and
Yeah.
27 years later or something. I want to reel it back and go do a shooting contest with you for pot money.
For pop money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I just
Anyway,
remember like he was down there on lane. I think that he had a kid laying on the shoot on like the prone position shooting. He might have been right there next to him trying to help him. And I was like right there, hey, can I get my pop money?
that's funny. Excuse me for the coughing. That's funny. I that's what kids do though, you know. I mean, you look back on it and you cringe a little bit, but
Right, right. I do.
I think all kids do that kind of stuff. Um, that's funny though. Yeah. So where were we at? We kind of fell way off track here.
Well, we were talking about hunter safety card and making friends that way. And then I don't know, you can probably just grab another one if you want. We don't have to go in order. But then
Well,
the next,
yeah, go ahead.
I would say the next one is getting to the field, which, like even as an experienced hunter, that's like almost the number one thing to do.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I feel like I'm always trying to actually pursue and get better at, is getting in the field before hunting season and
Correct.
start making my plans before hunting season, and hopefully even maybe scout some stuff to kind of get that confidence up that there's animals in
Right.
the area that you want to be. And
I think that you kind of hit a key point there too, was getting the confidence, like
yeah.
I don't know how many times like I have regrets for not knowing the area before I got into it.
Mm-hmm.
And meaning, so I talked to this story before, but I have two reasons why when I was rifle hunting, I did see a bull elk, but I did not shoot because one, it was running, and two, I was in a new area and I was scared that, the bull would take off running and I'd follow the trail and not know where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I, like my first reason for not shooting was because it was a running shot.
Yeah.
And second, I didn't know the area. So, like even, yeah, like that's just a number one thing to do, is get into where you're going to be hunting, because you want to eliminate those fears of where you're hunting. And you want to build that confidence of, like you said, for one, knowing if the animals are even in where the animals are, and two, being comfortable in the area you're in to where you can navigate and get yourself in and out safely.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I kind of feel I mean, I feel like we kind of covered that one, but I feel like this other part, which I probably need to get better about reading but throwing in practice in there, like as far as, so get out in the field and do that, but also
Buy the hunting gear and that you need in practice.
Yeah, and mostly like, I mean, new hunter could come in all forms. I mean, there's people that may have shot guns their whole life, but just never really went into the hunting field.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean? So there's some people that might be good at shooting, but just never actually went hunting. Or there's some people that might, have bird hunted their whole life, but never went hunting for elk. But whatever equipment, I mean, I feel like this is very important, is as a new hunter, is practicing with the equipment that you're going to use. I mean, this is, hunting gear you need. So practicing with all of it, range finders and binoculars, getting used to using binos. I mean, all that stuff is a little bit of a learning curve if you're brand new. But your shooting mechanism, whether it's a bow or a rifle, a shotgun, whatever it is, man, I think it's so important to practice that. I mean, veteran hunters, and we're all guilty of it, especially with rifles. going out there and I mean, I know me and you been guilty of not even shooting our gun before opening day and
Right.
trying and thinking that we could get away with it, which is totally stupid. And I do not recommend that. I think that the important thing is to practice, get that confidence again, but get that confidence that you're gonna hit the kill zone on that animal whenever you pull that trigger or release that arrow. That practice is so important as a new hunter. I think it's so important to shoot whatever mechanism you're shooting with, shoot it as much as you can, and dial it up a month before hunting season. That way you just have that confidence, like, hey, if I see an animal, it's down.
Right. And I
And
think that's huge there too, is building that confidence. I mean, we're talking here as if we're brand new hunters or whatever, but at the same time, I was thinking this article going along with even us as being experienced, but but confidence, that's kind of the big key in all this as well, because we talked about knowing your area. So in practice, and then all you're doing is building your confidence.
yep.
And so like if you're confident in how your equipment is, you're confident with how your weapons, whatever weapon you're hunting with, would you call it a weapon, your tool of shooting, you know how that works. Whenever you see something in front of you that whatever your quarry is you're going after, and you're going to know what to do, and you're going to be confident in your shot placement.
Yeah.
And in everything before and after, like that's just confident. You got to build up that confidence. And I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, with that too is finding a mentor that's willing to help you and take you through
True.
all the steps and even help you with the emotions and stuff. An experienced hunter that's gotten a lot of animals. I think it would help. It would help. Picking their brain on the motions of getting an animal down, and the whole thing, just doing the whole thing. But a mentor, practice, finding that confidence, getting out into the field, and then I don't know. I'm trying to think of like other things that if I was a new hunter today, what would I do? Gear. I think gear is important, but I feel like gear can be like people that work out for the first time. And my best example is like somebody coming out, working out, or gonna start working out on January 1st, and on December 31st, they're sitting there telling whoever, their friend, their wife, whatever, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lift all the weights. Well, what usually happens is they get so sore because they tried to lift all the weights that they give up so much faster because they're it hurts to move. And I think as a new hunter, like whenever it comes to gear, you don't have to. I mean, you could go to Walmart and get all your gear. You don't
Correct.
have to.
Secondhand gear, like you said, your mentor, like find a mentor in it. And if you're lucky enough to find someone that's willing, maybe, like they won't show you where to go, but they're willing to talk to you. They're going to have gear that they're like, hey, I don't use this anymore. You can have it, or this is what you're going to want to go look for, or hold on, I know someone that has some of this stuff that they don't use it anymore. So like, yeah, like that's even, well, between me and Eric's a little bit more of the spendy guy when it comes to the gear, and I'm just the one that whatever works it works for me, whatever no matter what or how cheap it is. But I do spend money on some of the gear that I want, that I know that I want nice gear as, but some of it cheap works for me.
Yeah. But I gotta admit though that there's kind of a learning curve there though. I've went down that road and bought some of the more expensive I bought some of the more expensive stuff, and then man, I'll tell you what, Walmart's hunting gear, um, it might not fit exactly this, like, so like the more expensive QUs and First Lights and stuff, they might have a better fit, if that makes sense. Like they might fit your body a little
Yeah.
bit better. But man, some of that stuff, I mean, the Walmart stuff, it's stretchy. I mean, uh breathable, uh and you're talking a tenth of the price on some of it,
Right. Well,
you
and I was
know.
gonna say too, like that's the hard thing is we're going down a rabbit hole of gear, but especially being new and even now, um, like I'm still revamping what I wear and what what goes in my pack, what doesn't go in my pack, and what gear I want, what I don't want. So like it's like a forever changing thing. You just can't be scared to change if you don't like how something fits or whatever. You got to be comfortable too.
Yeah. I think that happens every year. So there's either one or two things that happen. I go hunting, and while I'm in hunt camp and life's a little different, you're sitting there thinking, and you know what? Next year, I need this. I absolutely need it in my life. And a lot of the times what happens is I buy that one thing, carry it around in my pack, and then I go, man, that thing just heavy, bulky, in my way. I hate it. And I end up not liking the thing that the year prior I thought that I just absolutely had to have in my pack. And but that's the trials and errors of it all, is just
Right.
you take out what you really, that what you really need to survive, which is most time just food and extra clothes, water, or hydration of whatever, even if it's a filter bottle or whatnot. But the things, and then just add to it, subtract to it, maybe a first aid kit. I'm really
Right.
I've said it before, but I've turned in, even though I've never used it, carrying it around gives me a sense of security, I guess, to know that I have a first aid kit and bear spray, which is usually inside my pack. That doesn't do me any good, but I have a sense of security.
Right. Building that confidence.
Yeah,
Well,
building
I
that
think
confidence. There you go.
we were going to try to keep this short, so I kind of wanted to end on we kind of hyped everything all up, and this article has a bunch more little uh bold points, but I kind of think ending on this one will probably be good. It says take time to slow down. And I think even as an experienced hunter, enjoy where you're at, and take time to take in um what you're doing, because the stress of not getting something can kill your mood. Your stress of even getting out to hunting camp can kill your mood, and you're all hyped up trying to get your truck ready to go. But for I think especially your first year, or even it doesn't even matter how experienced you are. I'd say take time to slow down.
Yeah. Well, something about that that you just said is taking your time, and or just getting out there. Like if you don't catch not, or you're not killing nothing for um practice on being disappointed every day, and but being happy about it. Because I believe hunting, like there's so much attitude, and it's so hard to do whenever your first 2 or 3 days hunting and you haven't seen a thing, to because then like all the negative thoughts, you want to give up. You're like, I don't even know why I'm out here anymore. I wanted to go home, and
Right.
but you still got 4 or 5 days left of your hunt. You're like, you gotta learn to like get all those demons out of your head, and just like try to be happy the whole time. And it's so hard, and it can be so frustrating. But even as a quote unquote experienced hunter, I still have trouble with it. But I feel like I get a little better every year. I keep my head up, and or try to, and I don't know. It feels like every year hunting just gets better and better. but I feel like that's part of it. It's just keeping your head up and trying to keep positive the whole time.
Right. Right.
Because you lose that, and then the hunting. I don't know. There's been years that I've been so mad, especially before we started doing podcasting. I've been so mad that like didn't see what we wanted to see or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't even want to think about hunting for, and but then like that fall starts rolling around. I'm like, man, I want to go hunting again. It's only been the last few years. I mean, that's one thing that I love about this podcast. We're always talking about hunting, but it keeps me engaged with hunting. So I'm always excited about it. Where before we start doing this, there was that period where you kind of turned it off for a while,
Right.
until hunting season kicks back up. And then it was all about hunting again. And, we've been doing this. I think we're going on our third year of doing this podcast, or second year.
Second year.
Is it second year?
Second. Because we started in April of 2021. No, 20. We started in April of 2020.
Yeah. So we'll be starting our third year.
Yes.
Soon.
Yeah. We're coming up on our second anniversary of Struggling Hunters in a couple months.
Yeah. There you go. That makes sense. But I mean, we're like engaged all year round now. And so
right.
I don't know. It's fun. But yeah, emotions though, like in the hunting game though, especially if you don't get nothing, like it's just, it could be the high of highs or the low of lows. When I got my doe this year, I mean, I haven't had that feeling in so long. Whenever I got that doe, and I know it's just a doe and everything, but like, we going through that dry spell of not getting anything for a while. Then I finally got that doe. I mean, I couldn't believe it because I was there by myself, and it was like, it wasn't an act. I mean, I called Joe and I called my wife, but I was like, I don't even know if I ever told you this, but I was like shaking. I was so excited and my hands were shaking, and I was like, holy crap, like, I mean, I'm like, I'm excited, but I can't believe I'm this excited, like,
yeah.
And oh man, it just felt so good. So yeah, hunting is a game of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows at times. And you got to just like try to fight and stay positive the whole time. And, just whenever you're not coming up with success, one thing to think about is it's a learning process. It might not be the fun way to learn, but it's a learning curve, like
True.
Not going back to that area for an example, or whatever. I don't know, but it's, yeah. With that said, that's probably my final thought also. And we could, well, I guess, do you have a final thought?
No, just I think I just, like I said, just ended on that, take time to slow down. That's what I enjoy about hunting. I might be hunting my butt off and trying to cover ground, but I love it when I can slow down and enjoy where I'm at.
100%. That sounds good. I'll get us out of here. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're a new hunter, click and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you in the next one. We're out.
See ya.